Asukalamo, Monanosim nofe, Imanana Masuzi, Poto nofe. Hi, it's your girl Princess Bella, and in today's video, I am sharing with you all. Hey! This recipe, Osinaka Feraka Werutemaka, if you don't hear Igbo, it came from generation to generation to generation. I'm going to share with you all how I prepared this very super tasty, delicious umami egusi soup. You want to see me cook it? You want to join me in eating it? Come! If you like this video, there is a possibility that my magical wand is actually going to get you a plate of egusi soup and and pounded yam on your table right now. I know you want to join me, so try and click the like button and the subscribe button. Something might happen, you never know. So join me and cook this whole egusi soup and let's have fun while cooking. Alright, so hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you watched my last vlog, you realized that I actually went to the market to buy stuffs for my egusi soup, and egusi soup is a very common soup that we love to eat in Nigeria. So I'm just going to share with you all how I actually love to make my egusi soup. And right now I'm going to start with marinating my meat. I already have my onions processed. This is actually 2 medium-sized onions. I already cut it into the desired shape, and this is my thyme. So I'm just going to put the desired amount of thyme I want into the meat that I would want to marinate. If you're wondering whether it's okay to use thyme to cook egusi soup, it's actually very much okay, as long as it's not going to come out in the egusi soup. I mean, it's going to form a beautiful background taste in the soup, but then the meat will be very delicious. And this is the powdered nutmeg sachet that I love to use to marinate my meat. It has a very beautiful quality taste that it gives to the meat. So this is the Madish umami mix seasoning. I like to use this thing to marinate all my meat, right? So I'm just going to put this 1 sachet into the meat, and eventually everything will blend out by the end of the cooking. So this thing right now is my black pepper, and I am going to put everything into the meat because I love my meat peppery. I love my meat hot and sharp. I don't like meat that don't have any sharp taste. So I'm going to put all of this black pepper into the meat and then hope it is enough for the meat. And I am going to use 2 cubes of nut cube to marinate my meat. I'm just going to put a pinch of salt to the whole thing. So this amount is going to be enough. And afterwards, I'm just going to turn everything just so that everything blends in properly with the whole meat. Then I'll cover the pot and leave it for about 20 minutes. And if you're wondering, the part of meat I'm actually using for this particular soup is leafy. This is an example, like normal beef. I'm just mixing everything together because I definitely love the taste of leafy in my egusi. So now that I have finished marinating my meat and have covered my pot, I'm just waiting for the 20 minutes to reach, to be sure that most of the ingredients must have penetrated into the meat properly. I'm going to take this opportunity and prepare the things I'm going to be using for the soup. I'm going to be using dried fish. I'm going to be using the ugu vegetable. I'm going to be using the egusi, of course, and I'm going to be using the okazi leaves. I'm going to explain to you all precisely why I'm using most of these ingredients as the video goes on. I just turned on the gas right now. It is 20 minutes post meat marination. So right now I'm just going to put on my meat on the fire and then allow the meat to bring out some water. I don't like adding a lot of water to my meat from the onset, so I'm just going to allow this meat to boil for about, say, 5 minutes. Then it will bring out water on its own. Then I'll now add another water again, and if the taste is still not as nice as I want it to be, I might probably add a little salt or a little pepper or a little nut cube, depending on what is lacking in the meat, right? But for now, I'm going to cover the pot and let it bring out water on its own. I'm already perceiving some delicious aroma. This soup is definitely going to be very delicious. Let's watch and see. So this is where we are at the moment. The meat has brought out this much water. Are you perceiving what I'm perceiving? So if I let it to boil more, it's probably going to start to get burnt, and I wouldn't want that. So I'm going to add a little water just so it will now start cooking. But then I'm not going to add too much so that it will not lose the real taste. Even though I marinated it, I don't like using a lot of water from the outside, so this is fine for cooking this meat. So I'm going to cook it till everything is very tender before I now start mixing the ingredients, and I'm going to carry you all along till then. The meat is tender enough right now, and the best way to know that the meat is tender is to use a fork and then pass it through the meat, right? If it can pass through the meat with ease, then it is definitely tender enough. So you can now go on and continue with your cooking. Okay, so I'm not the kind of person that likes to keep testing meat, and before you know what's up, you have eaten 5 pieces of meat. You can actually just use a fork and pass through your meat. I actually have to reduce the intensity of the gas, right? So I'm going to start with my dried fish. So I'm using 3 pieces of catfish. This is the smoked catfish. So I'm using 3 pieces. I already washed it while I was waiting for the meat to get tender and all of that. So I'm going to put it into my soup. Then I'm going to add some amount of oil, but because I'm actually weight conscious, I do not like cooking my food with a lot of oil. I just like to put oil just to give a little bit of color. You know, I don't want the thing to be pale, but not too oily, because honestly oil has a lot of calories, which I'm really trying to avoid. So I'm going to add some oil. I'm adding this oil at this moment because I want, by the time the egusi is properly cooked, the oil must also be properly cooked too. I don't want to see those oil that will come and be on top of the soup. Don't like that kind of thing, really. So I'm going to put about 2 cooking spoons of oil and hope that it will actually be enough. Now you can use any amount of oil you like, depending on the kind of thing you like. I just have an individual preference for using just not too much oil because I'm weight loss conscious. Right now, if you have waited to this point, please don't get bored. Still follow me on and you definitely enjoy the whole thing, because I promise you this my recipe is a very delicious one. So like I said earlier, this is my ground egusi. You guys saw me when I was grinding it in the market, and the contents of this egusi is also, I'm not very sure of what also does to egusi. I heard that it is a kind of thickening of egusi, but the truth is that I like to buy the amount of egusi I will buy so that my soup will be thick enough. I don't exactly need much thickener for it, but then because of nourishment and all of those things, I still use also. This is 4 cups of egusi, 15 naira also, and Uziza. So the fun part of this thing and my secret ingredient that I use to make my egusi soup is Uziza leaf, Uziza seed, and okazi leaf. Everybody already know about ugu, but people don't really know that if you put Uziza seed to your egusi, it will give it a very precise and a sharp taste. I like to mold it first. This is 4 cups of egusi. It contains 15 naira ground Uziza, and it contains Uziza seed, and it also contains 50 naira ground also. So this is my ground crayfish. I'm going to put 1 cooking spoon of ground crayfish into it. I ended up putting 1.5. This is my dry pepper. I'm not going to be using the fresh pepper today. I'm just going to use this dry pepper because I don't have a lot of strength to come and be grinding things. Sorry. Because like I told you all already, you all must have known I like pepper. I cannot even manage a food that is not hot enough. So I'm going to put this amount of pepper. I'm going to put this amount of little onions into the egusi that I'm going to mold. I'm going to put these 2 nut cubes into the egusi that I'm going to mold. This is going to make the whole thing to be very, very, very delicious. If you want to mold the egusi, stop putting only water. Put some of those ingredients and make those things to enter into the egusi, and make the egusi to enter into those ingredients. It will eventually dilute. Don't mind me, that's the language I like to use in my house, but the eventual taste is going to appeal to you in a way that will make you wonder, what have I been doing all my life? So this is what I actually like to do. See, even though I'm not a professional chef, but I can beat my chest and say that even if you wake me up in the midnight and give me 500 naira to cook something that will be very nice, but I will still come up with something that will be very delicious eventually. Very, very delicious. That's because I've spent a lot of time with my mother and even my grandmother, and I've traveled a lot, and every time, anywhere I am, I'm always cooking. I always learn new things, so I just figured out the best way to make some things, you know. So right now I'm going to put in a little water, but not too much. If you want your egusi to be very thick, if you want it to be very beautiful and very appealing to the sight, put lesser amount of water. If you want it to still be fine but not as fine as, you can put more water. For this particular soup, I want it definitely to be very beautiful. Do you understand? So I'm going to not put too much water, but not too little, just for it to make sure, just so that I'll make sure that every ingredient mixes very well, and it's not very concentrated at just a particular place. A better option is actually to mix all the ingredients with the egusi, and afterwards now put it and still mix everything together. But since I got a little bit carried away, it's still fine. I'll just turn everything with the back of my spoon, and now with a clean washed hand, I'm going to use my hand and mold some of this egusi into the pot, right? So we move. This is what one mold will look like, so that the inside of it will cook properly. If you mold it big, the inside will not cook very well, but if you mold it small, the inside will cook very well. And I'm going to cover it and allow it to boil for about 15 to 20 minutes, depending on when the inside of the egusi has properly cooked, and depending on when it is ready for me to bring it out again and mash it properly in this same bowl. So guys, this is what we have come up with at the moment, and you know that the egusi has cooked by mere looking at it, by perceiving it, you know the smell of egusi that is properly cooked. And then somehow it is not very hard. So this is what it looks like if you cut it, right? So this is what it looks like if you cut it. This is how to know that your egusi is properly cooked. So in the absence of mortar and pestle at the moment, I'm actually going to use this cooking spoon and a bowl to actually pound everything, so that everything will settle down into small pieces and will be like soup, if that makes sense. So this is the egusi, and now I'm about to start breaking it and pounding it. This is what we have come up with at the moment. So I'm going to pour everything into the pot, and honestly I tasted this thing while I was doing it, and it is so delicious. You cannot believe the taste. So delicious. Please tell me in the comment section if you would like this recipe, if you will be trying it out. Maybe you're not very used to it. Just talk to me in the comment section what you think about it. And of course, you're very much invited to eat. Hey, I'm not stingy with anything, especially with food. If you come, I will give you. If you don't want to come, I can webble it. Just tell me where I'll webble it to, and I want us to enjoy this soup together. I feel like this egusi soup went to Harvard University. Yeah, so this is what we have come up with at the moment. I'm going to be adding just a little water because I feel like the water has reduced drastically. So I'm going to be adding a little water. And you see that everything has actually come together. The only thing that is missing for this thing is koswo. Can you make it? Delicious. A little salt to taste. So before I put salt and all of those things, I'm going to put the okazi leaf. I love using the okazi leaf to cook egusi because it is one hard vegetable I know that does not have a lot of aroma. Then I will now supplement it with the Uziza leaf. Unfortunately today in the market I didn't see Uziza, and that's why I'm going to use Ogo leaf instead. Uziza leaf actually gives a little very delicious flavor, but because I didn't see the Uziza leaf, I now had to buy the Uziza seed. So I'm still getting that thing I would have gotten from the Uziza leaf in the Uziza leaf. So I'm going to put the okazi. I'm putting it now because it's actually a hard vegetable. By the time the soup boils, do you understand? The vegetable must have, of course I've washed it before now, prior to now. So by the time the soup must have cooked, boiled, you get, the okazi leaf must have gotten soft. And then I'll now put my ogo and close my pot and off my gas. I don't like using a lot of heat to cook ugu because ugu is the softest vegetable I know. So this is what we have come up with at the moment. I will let the soup to boil, and then I'll probably add some nut cube or salt depending on what it probably needs. But then this soup is very delicious. I can perceive it. I already tested the egusi somehow. So let it to boil for a while. For about say 3 minutes. 3 minutes is going to be fine. Or should we make it up to 5? No, 4 minutes. Okay, let's leave it at 4 minutes. Shall we open the pot? Shall we? I'm perceiving this thing. Hey, Shimo. Can I sing for you? Asokalamo, wananozi nofe, imanana masoze, poto poto nofe. Asokalamo, wananozi nofe, imanana masoze, poto poto nofe, poto poto nofe, poto poto nofe, poto poto nofe, nofe. Guys, don't mind me. So, and last but not the least, I'm going to put my ugu. This is my already washed ugu. I do not. This is the last thing I like to put before my salt or after my salt, depends really. So I'm just going to put in this thing right now, just to give a lot of nutrients to my ofe egusi, because I don't consider egusi to be something that has a lot of, you know, vitamins and minerals and all of those things. So I like to supplement it with vegetables. I don't play with my nutrients at all. So this is where we are at the moment. The way I'm doing this whole thing, as if it's not hurting me, it's actually hot. I don't even know why I wouldn't use something else. I'm just a typical Nigerian girl that gets used to hotness and not mind. So let us test it and know what is missing and what and how far the whole thing has come. According to the site, it is looking so delicious, but the site is not a tongue, so we're going to actually test it right now and, you know, understand what we should add and what we should. Delicious, super delicious, super delicious. However, I'm going to add just a little amount of salt, just a little. I don't even know, just to be sure. I don't even know that this thing still needs extra salt, but this is just the amount of salt I'm going to be putting to it. And at this point, we are so done. Hey! So thank you guys for joining me in cooking this whole thing. I hope you learned a thing or two. I hope you enjoyed my recipe. If it's something you're used to, talk to me in the comment section. Let me know how we all appreciate this particular style of cooking. However, if it's not something you're very used to, you can try it out, and trust me, this is super delicious, and it is not exactly very expensive, and it is very affordable, and it is everywhere. So please talk to me in the comment section. Let me just know what is in your mind, and then please, if you have not liked my video to this extent and you liked what you saw, please kindly like, subscribe, and share this video with your whole friends. Bye. I will see you in my next.